What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a preview for the Outbreak Perfected mission, which is coming up on the 14th of May. So this will be one of the final major drops of content inside of Into the Light, and we have details about hidden quests, but also secret puzzles that we'll get access to inside of the mission, additional rewards, and the weapon upgrades. Plus Bungie have outlined some of the changes that we'll see in the 0 hour mission. So we're going to break it down as a preview of everything you need to know about the returning Outbreak, which of course will be craftable upon its return this month. So as always guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and find it useful. Let us know if you're looking forward to this mission down in the comment section, and without further delay, let's get into it. Firstly, for the exotic mission itself, Bungie have said that they've added new enemies such as fallen bricks, but on top of that, they've increased enemy density for the new sandbox. And so while it will feel pretty much like the same activity, we will see some minor sandbox adjustments, and I believe we get the same timers as for the Whisper mission, with the legend run being limited to 20 minutes. So that part of it is somewhat predictable, and we'll discover all of the gameplay components when we jump in on the 14th. But in terms of accessing the weapon, initially, Ada 1 will have the new quest for it, so we'll need to visit her in the annex and then complete the exotic mission, which will show up in the Into the Light subscreen on the director, the same as Whisper. After the first run of that, we'll get the Outbreak Perfected schematic, and then we can return to Ada 1. And in terms of the upgrades that we'll get for the weapon, firstly of course there'll be intrinsic upgrades that adjust the stats. Then we'll finally get access to magazine and barrel options. And for main traits, we'll be able to unlock Outlaw, and that's the one we'll get access to immediately. But following that, at weapon level 4, for step 2 we'll unlock Rapid Hit, with the third upgrade at weapon level 7 being Rewind Rounds, and the fourth upgrade at weapon level 8 will be Headseeker. So some interesting possibilities there, and Bungie have also outlined that the Outbreak Catalyst can be applied immediately if you already own it, but for players picking that up for the first time, it can also be earned in the updated mission. Otherwise, of course, via crafting it also means that we get access to barrel and magazine options, so there's good stuff like corkscrew rifling, small bore, polygonal rifling, and hammer forged. Then for magazines, accurized rounds, flared magwell, steady rounds, or extended mag, plus with the craftable version we'll be able to get fitted stock, short action stock, composite stock, or hand-laid stock. So let us know what your perfect Outbreak Perfected would be down in the comment section. Some of the quest steps for the upgrades though will actually take us out of the 0 hour mission, so for Outbreak Refined 1, we need to defeat Fallen in the Cosmodrome to claim inert Siva clusters. So it will probably just be random Fallen kills, with the second step requiring us to toggle the first pair of switches in 0 hour on Legend difficulty, before finishing the mission and returning to Ada 1. For the Refined 2 upgrade quest though, we need to defeat Fallen in the Exodus Garden 2A lost sector in Cosmodrome, and then toggle the second pair of switches before completing the mission. And the third quest needs us to defeat Fallen in the Devil's Lair strike in Cosmodrome to get the Siva clusters, and following that, we'll need to toggle the final pair of switches in the mission and complete it once again. And so those are the 3 weapon upgrade quests, but probably also tied to the intrinsic upgrades, there will be 3 vault puzzles in the exotic mission as well. So the Vaulted Obstacles Triumph requires puzzle 1, 2, and 3 to be completed, and we'll get an exotic ship schematic for each of those, and the Vimana Junker is the exotic ship which has been updated for this mission. Not sure how hyped I feel for that one, it certainly looks better than the original. Let us know what you think down below. But those puzzles probably will roll out week over week, so it'll require the full 3 weeks of completion. But additionally for 0 hour, it's worth noting that if you're working on the Brave title for Into the Light, the final objective, which currently isn't visible in game, will be Triumphant Outbreak, which simply requires a completion of the exotic mission overall. Additional triumphs for the mission though include Quarter Hour to complete 0 hour in under 15 minutes, but there's also Nimble 0 hour to survive Trevor's Maze and reach the Cryptarch Vault in the exotic mission without dying. Then there's one to complete the mission on Legend difficulty, one to complete it flawless, plus there's a 0 help triumph for getting a solo clear, as well as a solo flawless run, and there's upgrades of Contagion as well, which simply ticks off the refined quests for the various upgrades. So a few objectives to go after there inside of the exotic mission, and given that this one will launch when most of the Into the Light content is completed, it's probably something that more players will jump into immediately at that reset than perhaps what we saw with the Whisper mission. So very much looking forward to it guys, give us your thoughts in the comment section, and that does it for the quick preview today. If you have found the video useful, a rating below really does help us out on the channel, plus be sure to get subscribed and I can keep you posted with more Destiny content, but otherwise I very much appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
Its classic Outlaw perk is back, so you get your fast reloads on final blows, which works really well with Outbreak. It's all about also landing precision hits to either spawn nanites or to kill enemies and spawn nanites and spread that Siva energy around.
Spread the plague.
Spread the plague. And then the second one, though, that we're added here is rapid hit, which plays right into that. So like you land your precision shots, you get more stability, you get faster reloads. Then another new one is rewind rounds.
Say
it's hard for me to say.
Fast, yeah.
Try it out.
Yeah.
Which refills your reserves from to minimize your reload. So like if you're hitting shots, you're just going to keep getting more ammo, which is really kind of interesting.
Perpetual motion machine? No, perpetual death machine.
So yeah, it's like do you want the reloads, or you just want to keep shooting?
Yeah.
And then there's also a head seeker, which I think maybe for PvP or for certain play styles where like you're less focused on your critical shots. That's something to think about as well.
There's time pressure on me to finish this activity quickly, and also I'm going up against powerful enemies that are trying to stop me from doing that.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that the combat still felt challenging even in today's sandbox. So we added some new combatants with the brig. And we also just increased the number of combatants, period, so that players had more to do with their more diverse and deadly tools.
Yeah. Guardians have plenty of those available to them. When you were developing these combat spaces as well, were there any moments where you really thought to yourself, like, all right, this is it. Like, we've really centered in on what was great about this mission originally, but this is going to be appropriately challenging for today's Guardians?
Yeah, I think when we play tested it and we had everybody load up with their like new maneuverability tools, their swords, their grapples to go through the activity, and then we were expecting that like, oh, people are going to breeze through this like it's nothing, like the original 20-minute timer has to become something else. But really, all of that translated over pretty well. Like the individual sections are self-contained enough that like you can't bypass too many things by just using one new tool.
Sure.
The whole thing sort of still felt like 0 hour, even with your new toolbox.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Even with, we're gonna go ahead and jump forward here a little bit as well, using our dev tools to take a look at Trevor as well. So for the folks out there that want to reinstill that fear in themselves, now's a brief chance to check it out. Also, too, is we're in a world where, there's strand grapples, there's shatter skating. When it came to kind of redesigning these activities, or even making, I guess, alterations more appropriately on these activities, with one like Trevor, for example, what was the challenge that you kind of had to overcome with those new movement tools in addition to the combat tools that players have available to them?
Yeah, I guess philosophically, I want to make sure that if people were speccing into being highly maneuverable, then I honor that choice and say, yeah, you're highly maneuverable. Like maybe you're in this hallway with Trevor. I don't want to be ground up by these centipede legs, so I'm going to sword skate through this so that I can have a little bit of speed on Trevor. But you still can't invalidate the challenge entirely. Trevor will still kill you if you mistime those. So they're just like different expressions of how you want to tackle these challenges, and none of those expressions like fully throw these challenges out the window.